Should we wait a minute until everybody comes or? Okay, then I guess we'll get started. So welcome everybody to our presentation, our session today, Legacy of Heroes, Building Teams That Last. We're 7451 Avenger Robotics. My name is Homa.
My name is Anushka.
And today we are going to be your session hosts. So a little bit about Avenger Robotics. We're based in Alliance Academy for Innovation in Forsyth County, Cumming. Our rookie year was in 2018, and since then we've accumulated 54 members as of this year, all the members divided into 3 total sub-teams, which will be important later on. Anushka will tell us what we're going to be discussing today.
Okay, so in this presentation, we will be discussing how to build teams that last. And we're going to highlight how teams can achieve long-term sustainability through things like membership pipelines, financial stability, and knowledge transfers. And we'll explore ways for teams to achieve environmental sustainability as well through the definition of FIRST in initiatives such as park cleanups, scrap metal recycling, and recycling practices. So moving on into our roadmap, we'll be going over our membership pipeline, dividing workload and team structure, knowledge transfer, financial stability, and environmental sustainability, and finally documenting our success, challenges, and growth through this process.
So a few housekeeping things to keep in mind. We will be taking questions at the end. And we'll be doing it by section. So if you have a question pertaining to a specific section, you can also relate that back so we'll know a bit more what to talk about when answering. And then that should be it. Let's get started. Oh, pause. Before we do actually get started, we wanted to let you guys know that this presentation is based around the Sustainability Award sponsored by Dell. And as you can see, it celebrates and recognizes a team which has developed sustainable practices to have a positive environmental impact and achieve long-term continuity. Now, the Sustainability Award encompasses 2 big aspects. It encompasses team longevity and environmental consciousness, and it celebrates how these 2 areas can work together to have long-term impact on both their community, our community, and the environment. But why it matters? Sustainable teams equals successful teams. We want to build legacies. We pour hours into our clubs, we pour hours into making our robots, so we need to make the most of our experiences to make the team thrive and also develop our skills for our futures. It also ensures knowledge preservation and team growth over the years, and it gives everybody the same opportunity into the team. So again, while I mentioned that this presentation is built around the Team Sustainability Award definitions and the guidelines, we want to look beyond this award. Sustainability isn't just about keeping the team alive, it's also about the capability to grow and to accumulate new achievements throughout our years. So now, I'll hand it over to Anushka to discuss our membership pipeline.
Okay, so membership pipeline is a really key part of sustainability. And what a membership pipeline is it's keeping a steady stream of rookies and members. Without a clear pipeline, teams rise and fall depending on the skill sets members gain each year. Sustainability starts with people. So there are 3 key aspects that we use to develop our membership pipeline. First is recruiting. So we like to partner with robotics programs at middle and elementary schools across the county to establish a clear membership pipeline, which means that through helping the community, we can also get our name out there. And as students who have been mentored by our team move from elementary to middle to high school, they'll know our name and be excited to apply for our team when they get to high school. And in this way, we're able to give back to the community while also maintaining our steady stream of new committed members who are excited to be part of our team. And another key way that we do this through recruiting and establishing this tree of membership is outreach events like Science and We STEM Nights that establish a clear membership pipeline and introduce robotics to younger students without much access to STEM resources. We also present at the Linear Tech Career Conference for middle school students so they can know about us as well. And a big emphasis on outreach here, because outreach is a big way that we emphasize our membership pipeline and establish it and keep it growing. All right, moving on to the second part of the membership pipeline is training and onboarding. So during our off season, rookies are well prepared across all of our sub teams by the designated head of that sub team. So as you mentioned earlier, our 3 sub teams, each one has a head, and so rookies in each sub team will be prepared by that head to be ready for when competition season starts. Knowledge is passed from veterans to rookies to build a sustainable team that has adequate capabilities each year. This ensures that skills transfer from veterans to rookies before competition season. So based off of our team structure, there are a couple key ways that we do this. So here are some examples. First of all, in our design sub-team, at the beginning of the year and during off-season, rookies learn basic CAD and design principles through real-world off-season projects that will exercise skills they will need throughout the competition season. Also in manufacturing, rookies learn how to use software like VCarve and the router and mill to manufacture parts that are very similar to the parts we will be manufacturing in the actual competition season so that they can become equipped and contributing members of our team. Moving on to electrical, rookies learn how to strip wires and basic electrical components and circuits so that they can be prepared again for competition season when they're going to be helping wire the robot. And moving on to business, rookies learn from past materials and past impact and EI submissions, and they're also able to be a part of and lead initiatives to help them get experience. And these are a couple key ways that we keep our rookie members and our new members really involved with the team so that they're more excited to be a part of the team. Which leads me into our strategies for retention. We want to keep our members engaged and active and contributing across all of our sub-teams. So a couple ways that we do this is by giving rookies access to a lot of resources and making sure that they have access to proper guidance to help them develop their skills that they'll need throughout the competition season and throughout their FRC journey. So they get access to frequent exercises, which will give them a chance to use their skills that they developed in the off season and during competition season. And we love to give them real responsibilities to ensure engagement and make sure that they're developing those skill sets that are essential to the overall membership pipeline, where we're keeping the same skill sets in the team so that we can accumulate on them, like Hama mentioned earlier. So this is one way that we want to build a more sustainable team because recognition builds team spirit. So this leads me into celebrating milestones. We want to keep members really engaged to put in the work and contribute to the team by by celebrating small wins and big milestones. So members and new members and veterans alike should get recognition from all of their wins and milestones if they're small or big. And that encourages them to work hard and build a more sustainable team. Recognition builds team spirit again. So through recruiting, training, and retention, we are able to keep a steady membership of excited and committed members to make the team the best it can be. And this brings us back to the view of sustainability that we mentioned earlier, which is viewing it as an effort to allow for the most growth that we can in the team, rather than a stagnant skill set. By our membership pipeline, training, and retention, we are able to push this growth forward so that new members can accumulate on our skill sets and build on it.
Okay, I'm going to take over now and we're going to discuss dividing workload and team structures. So, to start, there are 4 main parts to this. You want to have clear roles and responsibilities. There are a lot of different jobs that come with being in a robotics team. You have to actually design, make, and then assemble the robot so that the programmers can actually code it. But who codes it and who gets all the funds for resources to actually make the robot? These are all very important questions that you need to have answers to. Who is doing what? Dividing the team into 3 main groups, 3 main sub-teams. and especially for us, we have our mechanical sub-team, our business sub-team, and programming sub-team. It makes sure that everybody has an equal opportunity to work on a key component of making our team a FRC team. And then we have our leadership pipeline, which ties into the roles and responsibilities. Each sub-team has leads, as Anushka mentioned earlier, that prepares teams for the real-world responsibility that you have. Each sub-team should have a respective lead that oversees progress and directs the team to accomplishing goals. And one of the overarching goals within the team and within FIRST itself is to prepare the members for the real world. The leads should have this responsibility and this incentive to keep in mind, making sure that each member is playing an equal and active role in the team. However, it's not just their responsibility. Older or experienced members, regardless if they're rookies or senior members, if they have experience, you should always share that experience. Knowledge is power. Old, this way, the team will be left in capable hands in the future, and you won't be trying to get your bearings the next following season. And then the mentor-student balance is kind of just a recap of this so far. Mentors guide, but students own the work. And you can also try the strategies that Anushka mentioned earlier with the retention strategies and the training, setting up knowledge transfers such as the CAD lessons and other electrical demonstrations help students to be prepared for the oncoming responsibilities throughout the season. And then Anushka will take over now for knowledge transfer.
Okay, so knowledge transfer is kind of an expansion on the leadership and membership pipeline that we have going on in our team, but it's its own section because it's a really important aspect of that. So again, a problem that I mentioned in the beginning of my section of the membership pipeline is that sometimes teams invest all their skills in the veterans, and so when the veterans leave the team, they kind of take their skill sets with them and the team kind of fizzles out. So we really want to prevent this from happening, and that's what knowledge transfer is. So during our whole off season, we want to train our rookies and members that will be staying on the team as well as possible to maintain the same skill sets in the team so that we're able to grow off of them and accumulate in coming years. So there are a lot of simple and easy ways to do this, which makes it a really low effort way to keep the team active and growing. So number one, you can train them off of old materials so they can grow and build on it. This applies to every single sub-team that we mentioned in the past. So whether it be business and we're looking at old impact submissions, whether it be design and we're looking at old CAD models, or whether it be manufacturing and we're learning VCarve and other softwares. Training rookies and new members off of old materials maintains that skill set so that when veterans leave the team, rookies are able to keep it going and keep it moving. So another way we can do this is passing down knowledge. So again, like I mentioned in membership pipeline, we like to have our heads mentor our rookies as much as possible during the off season when things aren't too busy so that the new members are able to get adequate skill sets before competition season. And a way this plays into team sustainability is we want to keep our team growing and capable over all the years instead of just letting it fizzle out. So knowledge transfer is a great way to do that. And finally, we like to use off-season materials to build skill continuity. So this can be past robots like our 2024 robot and our Reefscape robot. We're going to be exposing our new members to those robots so that they can learn more about the process behind making a robot and they can be more equipped for that during the competition season. And this goes the same with new parts. So if we buy new parts during the off season, we like to give it to our rookies to experiment with them, and under the guidance of a designated team head, they can get a lot of knowledge out of it. So now Homa will take us into financial stability, which is a key part of sustainability.
So making sure money is obtained and allocated properly is crucial because of how sensitive the discussion of money is. Now, typically, it'll be the business team that'll oversee all of this, including the coach or any adult mentors that you have. But this applies to the whole team as well, funding. All members can play an equal and important part in raising money through word of mouth or even parent aid, such as parent sponsorships. And then the business side usually and then the business side mainly applies to sponsorships, grants, and other ways to get those funds. Fundraising is also a very good way to get the money nowadays. We've seen Chipotle socials, we've seen ice cream socials. Keep doing those. Those are great. It provides awareness for other people who might not know about the team, and it also brings in money and fundraising funds. STEM camps are another great way to start. Here at AvengerRobotics, we're going to start our own STEM camps for middle and elementary schoolers this year. So we hope to earn some money off of that. And then you've seen concessions as well during competitions, competition seasons, and then recycling drives are also another niche thing that you can do. So it doesn't have to necessarily be the most blatantly obvious ways to earn money, but niche ways such as the recycling drives and other stuff you can probably think of and imagine are also very great ways and unique ways that you guys can make money that sets yourself apart from other teams. Teams' dues also add up to a big chunk of the funds, so raising and lowering them as needed to compensate for outside factors such as inflation or leftover money from previous seasons will give you a starting place for where to start with how much you need a budget and how much you need to allocate for other stuff. This brings us into budgeting and planning, as it so happens. So understanding where all your income sources comes from is the most important thing. Put it into a spreadsheet so you can track all incomes. That way it saves you a heck of a lot of time and a lot of brain cells. Now, to make a budget, you want to identify your fixed costs. And usually this includes registration fees for competitions, robot build materials such as aluminum, electronics, motors, cameras, field and practice equipment, especially later in the season, such as game elements and tools, and then travel itineraries for buses, hotels, and then meals, because meals surprisingly take up a lot of money. So a good estimate for this is around 40 to 60K, but that number can vary very greatly. So you want to make sure you have a good amount of money that matches your team needs and your team members as well. And then building a budget also includes having to account for variable and flexible costs such as outreach events like booths, materials, and demos, and then media and branding such as shirts, pits displays, and video equipment. It also pays, or not pays, it also costs a lot to make those. And then optional events such as off-season events like grits that's coming up, and then outreach camps like the ones we're doing. It's going to cost money because we need to get the kits to actually teach the children how to incorporate STEM into their lives. And then this could also, you also want to include expansion into this, like rookie kits and then training programs as well for CAD softwares and other softwares. So that's something to keep in mind. And then building a budget and planning for the unexpected, you also want to have contingency funds. You want to diversify your sponsors so you don't depend on one specific sponsor. So should something happen with your relationship to them, that you can no longer earn money from them. And then comparing estimates with previous years also helps you make an estimate or have a vision in how much you want to aim to earn and how much you want to aim to not spend or cap it out as. These are all great ways to start with a budget if you do not already have one, or if you want to revitalize your budget and make it more applicable to your current standards and needs. Then to top it off, you also really want to invest smartly. For example, I remember in our previous years, we invested in a Wix website subscription. We haven't used that in 2 years. So to us, that was a big waste of money. So you want to invest smartly. Buying a CNC router and 3D printer or mill, it's a high upfront cost, yes, but it reduces long-term prototyping and manufacturing expenses. So you're saving money in the long run. And then quality hand tools for build materials and manufacturing means less replacements, and it's just safer for members. And then these are a few examples of budgets and how you want to allocate your money. So this is an example of our sponsorship list from previous years. We have our members who were in charge of doing and obtaining these sponsors and how much we're willing to, or how much they're willing to pay us or give us money in sponsorships. And then we have income spreads, like how much we earn from sponsors and other stuff, and how much we earn from membership dues, and then team expenses. A graph like this helps you visualize how much money you earn or how much money is being exited out of the deposit, because most people remember visual diagrams more often than just written stuff. So having visual stuff, having visual aids is a good technique to keep in mind. Now I'm going to hand it back to Anushka for environmental sustainability.
Okay, so if you're going off of first definition of the sustainability award, environmental sustainability is a huge part of that because you want to keep your team sustainable and growing and accumulating. But in addition to that, you want to make sure that you're environmentally friendly and safe, which is a huge part of the overall definition of sustainability. So we've all heard the typical recycling, reducing, and reusing, but there are a couple key ways that we can apply this to our FRC teams to increase our environment or decrease our environmental footprint and make more sustainable choices in the long run. Okay, so number one, the first step in making your team more environmentally sustainable is assessing your team's environmental footprint as of now. So you want to know where everything is coming from and where all of your sources of things that perhaps aren't environmentally friendly are. So this can come from travel, materials, and energy use. A couple key ways that we as AvengerRobotics like to decrease on these things is by taking buses to our competitions, which reduces the fossil fuels that come out of cars, by reducing our consumption of materials, so using the same sheets of aluminum or same sheets of wood from off-season to reduce our consumption, and that also kind of leads into financial sustainability where we can reduce our budget as well through that. And energy use, you just want to make sure that you are not using any extra energy than you should be. So a couple key ways that we do this, and what I'm going to be talking about as examples for the rest of our section, is our trash cleanups, our CanBot, and there's a lot of ways that you as your team can incorporate things like this, such as like recycling e-waste, recycling drives, metal recycling from your builds, soda cans, etc. It can really be anything you put your mind to and anything that is able to become more environmentally friendly, you can make it more environmentally friendly. So one thing that worked really well for us is our CanBot. So our CanBot was made in the off season to increase our environmental sustainability by recycling soda cans and compressing them so that they're more easily recyclable and composted and they don't take up that much space. So this also leads into our key point of our membership pipeline because we had a lot of our rookies work on this, and that led to them being able to exercise real world CAD skills, manufacturing skills, electrical skills, business skills, etc. So that's one way that we did it. And then we also tried to make sustainable choices in our pit at competitions, on our robot, which means reducing our consumption of materials, and we also want to do outreach projects so that we can also reduce our consumption. So this can be trash cleanups, which we do. And you can see it in the picture. That's one of our trash cleanups. So you want to recycle things that are recyclable and you want to reduce littering and pollution. It's a great way to get the team engaged in outreach if they don't want to judge at competitions or things like that. And it gets the whole team involved, and it also is an amazing way to give back to our community by cleaning up public parks and nature areas. So a big part of environmental sustainability for our FIRST team is linking our FIRST values back into our sustainability goals. And there are a couple key ways that we do this. Firstly, through innovation. We're always trying to find new ways to recycle, reduce, and reuse in our team. So this could be new ways to lower our consumption of materials or energy, or our CanBot, which was made last season, and it was a great way to reduce our environmental footprint and sort of make up for our consumption of aluminum. Moving on to impact, one way that we did this was helping our community through trash pickups, but you can do this in a variety of ways just by getting the community involved and getting people interested in STEM and sustainability as a general principle. That makes a huge impact on the community, and that also brings your team closer to being more sustainable. Moving on to teamwork, our team works together at trash cleanups, and all of our sub teams have to be involved to be more sustainable overall. Like I said at the beginning of the presentation, sustainability starts with people. So it is so important to get the whole team involved and able to make more sustainable choices. And finally, fun. We love to use exciting things like the CanBot and other ways that we can get kids and adults alike interested in STEM to make them have fun and be more interested in sustainability and FIRST. When they enjoy it and they get a good experience with sustainability, STEM, and robotics, they are more inclined to practice those things in their daily life, which is also a great way of making an impact on the community. And it's a great way of being a more sustainable team in the definition of FIRST. So now I'm going to pass it on to Huma to move on to our last section.
Documenting success, challenges, and growth. Okay, so this could mean a lot of things, but we're going to start here. Awards, outreach metrics, media coverage, these are all important things and important feats that your team can accomplish and has accomplished in years past that you should acknowledge to the best of your abilities. Highlighting team and individual achievements helps morale within your team, and it can help advertise as well, especially if you post it on social media, or if you put it out on newsletters for sponsorships like we have on the presentation. We do these quarterly newsletters every month to send to our sponsors to say, hey, this is what we've been up to, and this is how your money is being implemented into our work and our initiatives. Making timelines and infographics of all of our achievements. Like I said earlier, people remember graphics more than lists. So if they can remember, oh, hey, I remember on that one infographic that AvengerRobotics or your team accomplished this many recycling initiatives, collecting this amount of pounds of trash, that's effective. We can probably do the same as well. Again, advertising, reaching out, tracking progress over the years, helps membership growth, outreach impact, and technical progress. And it also shows rookie to current standings. So how you were during your rookie years. For us, that would be 2018 to how we are now currently with our robot, with our skills, and with the development of our team now in 2025. It also builds accountability with completing or accomplishing feats, sharing, like I said earlier, sharing impact with sponsors, your school district, or community helps you show where their commitment is going. And then we have to discuss challenges as well, because there aren't any successes without the challenges that you face with them. You have common obstacles that you're going to experience, so you want to avoid them in the future. So learning from your mistakes, in the present can help you save potentially a lot of money and a lot of manpower and willpower in the future. You can discuss what worked and what didn't work, comparing and contrasting what needs to be done in the future, how those setbacks shaped your sustainability practices in the future, and what you can do moving forward to reach the goals that you otherwise couldn't achieve because of those challenges you faced earlier. So that should be it. And now we're going to be talking about your future vision. This is going to be a bit of an open discussion. We're going to ask a few people if they would like to share where their team is currently standing right now in terms of business or mechanical, or any other stuff that you'd like to point out, and how you would like to use the information that you've gained during the session or during Symposium in general to improve your team's standings or improve your team's metrics or outreach or whatever that applies to you in the few coming years. So if we could get that, if anybody wants to share, we'd be very grateful. Anybody? Okay, so if not, then we'll just move on to the open Q&A. So a revision of what we discussed today, we discussed our membership pipelines, including, I think Anushka can talk about that just very briefly.
Yeah, so just a quick recap of our membership pipeline. The three key ways that we do this are through recruiting, training, and retention. And those three things make sure that we are able to keep our knowledge sustainable throughout the team.
And then we also talked about dividing our workloads and team structures. And you want to make sure that each team has enough people, or not enough people per se, but enough dividing and conquering so that everybody can accomplish the same amount of work that should be done to make the team sustainable in a sense. And then knowledge transfer.
All right, so expanding really quickly on knowledge transfer, which is a key part of our leadership and membership pipeline. We love to train our rookies off of old materials, old parts, really anything that they can get their hands on to equip them with the skill sets that they'll need for competition season, as well as keeping the skill sets continuous throughout the team and capable for growth.
And then financial stability, making sure money is obtained and allocated properly is crucial because of how sensitive money is. So making a complete budget, making sure you know where all of your money is going and how you're earning said money is important because it's important because it saves you a lot of headaches trying to understand, oh, we paid this amount of money for this. What is our return on investment? We need to make sure we understand how much we're gaining in return and if it is worth it to continue investing or paying for this said initiative.
Okay, and then moving on to our conclusion of environmental sustainability, we want to assess our team's environmental footprint as a standpoint and a basis, and then you want to use outreach and sustainable choices to propel your team into that sustainable area where we're reducing, reusing, and recycling as part of our first team. And we also want to link our first values with the sustainability goals of the team. So innovation, impact, teamwork and fun, and discovery and inclusion can all be linked in their own way to environmental sustainability as a whole. And this maintains our definition of sustainability in terms of FIRST.
And then just finishing off, documenting your success, challenges, and growth. making sure you have everything outlined, such as all of your accomplishments throughout your season careers in previous years as well, can show how much you as a team have grown over the years and how much you've changed. Like, how have your practices and how have your initiatives changed to get where you are currently? And it doesn't come without its challenges. They always say failure is a part of learning. So making sure you also document your challenges and how you overcame them afterwards is also important for other people to reflect on as well. And then that should be it. Any questions? Okay. So what is our team's future vision?
Okay, so I can go into a few things about our mechanical team's future vision. So, with our new parts that we're buying and our new design choices that we're making, so pretty recently we switched from Onshape to SolidWorks, which was a design choice to increase our manufacturing. And a lot of things like this, we just want to streamline our manufacturing and our design process to make it very like efficient and we can make parts easier, faster, quicker. And then I think Homa can go into a little bit of our future vision for business and awards.
So I am the awards lead at AvengerRobotics. So right now we've learned that First has changed some of their guidelines into what they're looking for in the first impact, or we're realizing now that they have a really big impact per se on how we should do our own work. So we're looking forward to implementing a lot more FIRST programs and volunteering with a lot more FLL and FTC programs to help us with our own impact. And we have more smaller stuff that's coming up soon, but we have yet to discuss that. So I don't think I can answer too much about business, but I think Anushka said a good chunk for mechanical. And then how do you suggest an FRC team keeps rookies engaged during their first year on the team? We discussed this a little bit earlier. I think Anushka can discuss that again.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to be discussing this in terms of mechanical because I am on the design team for Avenger Robotics. And so I was a rookie last year, and a lot of the ways that our team kept me and all the other rookies engaged, and this year as well, we want to keep them engaged with real world projects and things that they can do to exercise real competition skills. So this maintains that excitement and commitment to the team because if we're letting them, for example, make parts, use software like Onshape or VCarve, and connect circuits, that helps them feel more committed to the team and capable of doing things in the actual competition season. And I think it's a really great way to maintain our membership pipeline, like I mentioned earlier. So Homa can go into this a little bit more for business as well.
So I remember we had our first few meetings this past week, and for business, we all got into a room and we started discussing the ideas that we all had for impact. It helped especially with the rookies because they, as rookies, don't know much about what impact entails. So we gave them a day. We gave them resources to look into previous impact award submissions and winners. And the following day, we just sat down and we were like, hey, what were the ideas that you accumulated last time? And let's start sharing. And from that, we gained information and knowledge on how these people work and how their working behaviors also can be very useful for the team. And it lets us know more about who we're working with as well. And it wasn't just fun for the rookies, it was also very fun for me as a junior to see all these new people and their ideas that they can bring to the team. So that's probably the main part for business. And then How do you maintain a positive team culture when challenges and conflicts arise? Anushka, you want to discuss that?
Yeah, so a couple ways that we do this in mechanical, because we know during the season it can get really stressful with all the parts we're rushing to make, all the impact emissions that we're rushing to do. It can get really stressful and really hard to maintain that kind of positive team culture. So a couple ways that we do this are by having a kind of team meeting in our mech room each day before practice to do some general housekeeping stuff, and it serves as kind of like a motivation to like keep performing well, because it'll be worth it when we exercise our skills. And another way that we do this is, again, moving into our membership pipeline. We like to have our heads mentor our rookie members during the off season and even during the season, so that rookie members don't get too easily discouraged and they can keep putting their best effort in to learn skills and develop a lot of qualities that can help them during the actual competition season. And I'm sure Huma can talk about this more in the context of the business team.
So, I'm gonna have to think about that, to be honest. Give me a sec. I think I kind of just want to recap with what Anushka said, because it applies to not just mechanical, it also applies to business as well, or just any of the sub teams. Getting together in the beginning is a very important way to make sure everybody is on the same pace and is on the same page. That way, there's no confusion, which is probably the most aggravating thing I can think of, not knowing where everybody is on certain projects or certain initiatives. It just helps everything get straightened out so you're not confused necessarily. And then that's answering that question. Are there any more? Yeah, and it's more about we got each other's backs during the beginning instead of letting people down. So that's
Yeah,
just another tidbit.
we try to support each other as much as possible in the team, and even like through sub teams and through roles, we just try to be really aware of what other people are stressed about, making parts for the teams, doing impact missions, and try our best to help during the team. So that's a couple of the ways that we do.
Okay, any other questions? I'd love to answer them. Okay, then if we don't have any more questions, I think we can end the session today. Thank you guys so much for coming. Okay, never mind. Never mind. We got another question. What what is the largest internal challenge you've had to overcome?
Um,
My memory isn't that sharp, guys.
I think the largest internal challenge that we've had to overcome. Okay, so for example, our team specifically, we had a lot of issues with our intake for mechanical at the beginning of the season. And so I think we had to remake the index 7 times to get it perfect, to keep our coral, getting a little bit specific into the game, but keep our coral in. And so, yeah, so it's a lot of things like that, um, that are challenges for our team of. But in the end, our team sustainability plays a key part of it for solving these issues, because having a sustainable team also means having a team that can be resilient and move through, have a team that can be resilient and move through deadlines and struggles like that. So that was a key way that we solved that, by just being resilient and keeping our heads up and, making the part, doing the submission, whatever it is, just doing it to the best of our ability.
And then for business, a key component is deadlines. That is something we struggle with previously and do continue to struggle with now, but we are getting better. Like we mentioned before, you always want to document your challenges or reflect on the challenges you faced. And part of that includes making sure we set tighter deadlines or checkpoints so we know where to start and where to expect to be. And for example, this year we started with a calendar. We made a team calendar that we shared with all of our members and business. That way it highlights all of our key events. So we're making sure we're staying on track with our progress. And then another, I guess, challenge we faced is keeping sponsors as well. Sometimes it gets difficult, especially or start getting sponsors, especially when they don't want to communicate with you. What we've learned from our past experiences, try to keep your interest in them apparent. Make sure they know that, hey, we want to start a relationship with you. But if they keep, for example, if they keep on deflecting or they don't keep answering your emails or messages, it's sometimes better to just let it go because it shows that they're not willing to put in the effort to start a relationship that we want to start. So those are two of the bigger challenges we face as a business team, and I suppose as a whole team as well, deadlines.
Okay, do we have any more questions?
Okay, then I don't think we have any more questions. Thank you guys so much for coming today for the session. I hope you guys learned a lot of new information about the Team Sustainability Award. But again, keep in mind the award itself, while it is a huge award that you can win for your team, you shouldn't just do all these initiatives for the award. It's also there to help benefit your team. So the team comes first before any award. So keep that in mind. And again, thank you guys for joining us today. This was Homa.
And Anushka.
Okay. That should be it. Thank you guys.